In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the four-wheel drive actuator and harness on your GMC K1500. This will be located under the vehicle, going from the transfer case up to the front axle. Let's get started. We're under the car, and right in the middle on the front axle, you're going to find our axle shift actuator. If you follow this wire back, right on the back side of that axle, you're going to find this connector. Go ahead and lift up on the tab and separate that. The wire's sitting in a small little bracket that just pops out. You can just pull it right out of that bracket. I'll pull that harness forward. We're going to use an adjustable wrench, and we're going to remove this shift motor. Pull the actuator straight out and remove it from the vehicle. I'm going to use a clean rag and wipe down our area. Our threads are pretty gunky, so we're going to clean them up a little bit. Install the spacer. Push it all the way down into place so it's seated. You can feel it push back against you. Install the actuator. Get it threaded in. Snug the actuator down. Grab the harness. We're going to install this into the actuator. Push until you hear that click. We're going to route this harness up and over the axle. And on there is another pigtail for the two-prong, and this is going to come from the original connector for that actuator. So we'll grab that pigtail, connect the two-prong connector to our harness. Now we're going to route this harness up and over the transmission to the back towards the transfer case. We're going to follow the old harness that this two-prong is connected to. We'll just follow that, go up and over. So here are our connectors for that four-wheel drive actuator. And now we're going to go up right to the side. You can see the starter right there. And you can see those two wiring harnesses. We're going to follow those harnesses up and over the transmission towards the driver's side with our new harness. Feed the harness up and over. Alright, so our harness is located up over here, and we have to get it up and over the transmission. To do this, we're going to use an old hanger, a metal hanger that we've cut up, and we're going to feed it up and over the transmission. And then we'll pop to the other side, and right there, pull back a little bit and feed it over. And now right there we have the end. I'm going to take our electrical tape and I'm going to bend this wire over. I'm going to tape the wire to the loom. Grab the end of our hanger. I'm going to tape this to the loom with the wire. Get that all taped up. And now we'll pull the hanger from the other side up and over the transmission. Pull it gently. Now there's this foil on here for heat protection. We're going to route it up by those other harnesses. And if we look on the other side, it's popping out right over here. attached to the end of our hanger. So now we have it routed up and over the transmission. We're going to start working it back towards the transfer case. Push the harness towards the back. We'll pick it up down there once we're there. You just have to start routing it towards the transfer case. So here we have that harness routed down by this transfer case right here. You can see the front of the drive shaft or the rear. We're going to undo the harness from our hanger. So get this harness routed all the way to the transfer case, and then we're going to go after a sensor that is on top of this transfer case, and we're going to splice into the wires. Here's the transmission pan, and we have that interim drive shaft now coming up and over. You can see on top of the transfer case this connector right here. We're going to splice into the brown wire. In our case, it's on the right side. Alright, so here's our connector on top of our transfer case, and to make this splice, we're going to use one of these quick connectors. Whenever you use these, make sure that you waterproof your connections, make sure they're all taped up, fully sealed. We're going to get our first wire installed. Make sure it gets seated in that first slot, just like that. Now we're going to reach over and we're going to grab our brown wire from our new harness. We're going to install this into the connector as well. To close this connector, I'm going to use a pair of pliers. Pinch this down. Just like that. Close the door on top. Be sure it seals into place. You'll hear it click. I highly recommend either putting some heat shrink around this, sealing it down, or taping it all up, making sure it is fully waterproof. Now travel back and cable tie your harness up, making sure it doesn't interfere or sit on anything that it may rub on. Make sure it's out of the way of the drive shaft. Back up towards the front, we have the start of our harness where it goes up and over the trans. We've worked our way back, zip tying it. We want to make sure we get this front one as well. Just like that. Once you have your harness secured and all of your connectors waterproofed, you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.